Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I will be doing a jailbreak tutorial for iOS 9.3.5 and 9.3.6. This tool may also work for other versions of iOS 9. It'll be in the title. Basically, first off, before we begin, I got a new iPhone. Here's the one that all my old videos are recorded on, the 7 Plus. And I've upgraded to a 14 Pro Max that I will be keeping for as long as I've kept the 7 Plus. So, appreciate the top-of-the-line quality for now, because you'll be seeing this same quality here for years. So, yep, I'm recording, I think, 4K 30, I believe, so you'll be seeing a good quality boost. But I will warn, I have a lot of other videos coming up that still use this phone because I recorded them before I got my new one. With that out of the way, let's begin. So there are 3 jailbreaks currently for 9.3.5 and 9.3.6. This is 32-bit only. I believe there's one for 64-bit devices, but that's an entirely different one, and the vast majority of you are going to be running on an iPhone 4S, an iPad 2, an iPad 3, iPod Touch 5, iPad Mini 1st Gen. All those devices, or even an iPhone 5, anything with an A6 chip or older that's running iOS 9.3.5 or 9.3.6, or maybe other versions, it'll be in the title, as I said. This will work for you. So, let's begin. So, there are 3 jailbreaks currently for iOS 9, and they are Phoenix, Polaris, and Blizzard. Phoenix is the original one that came out several years back. Generally, it tries to push sponsored a mixtape content thing on you, and it can just be, the exploit it uses can just be a bit unreliable at times. These are all semi-untethered currently, so you will have to rerun an app, and yeah, it is just it was the only tool for a long time, but now there are 2 others, and they are Polaris and Blizzard. Polaris was released earlier this year. It's another semi-untethered jailbreak. Uses a lot of the same stuff Phoenix used, but it is a good bit more reliable in my experience, and a lot cleaner, and it's not bloated up with that sponsored stuff. And then finally there's Blizzard, which was made by iDevice Central, GeoSnow on YouTube. He just made it as a challenge for himself, and I haven't personally used it, but it should work just fine. It didn't need to really exist. He just made it for fun, and is sharing the name with his upcoming iOS 15 jailbreak if he ends up finishing that, so yeah. This process will work for all 3, but I'll be demoing with Polaris for one good reason, and that is because Polaris is going untethered soon. There is a beta alpha out on GitHub right now. I think it only works on one device. I think the iPad 2 maybe, I'm not sure. And it's a very complicated process to install and highly unstable. So I'm not even gonna bother until it is finished and released, but I believe it should be out when it is released as an update to the app, or just a package to download in Cydia. So but yeah, if you can go with either of the 3. I'll link them all below, but I will be demoing with Polaris. But they're all pretty much the same idea. So to get started, go down and download iTunes, first of all. All these links will be in the description. iTunes, you'll need the regular Windows installer version. You cannot use the version downloaded from the Microsoft Store, I believe, so I'll leave an explicit link to that version. And if you're on a Mac, this is a Windows tutorial, but the Mac process is very similar, so you'll just be fine. You don't have to install any iTunes or anything. You'll need a tool called Sideloadly, which we'll be using to get the app on the phone from your computer. It's available for PC and Mac. I believe Mac requires a bit of extra setup to get working, at least last time I checked. So I'm sure the website has a guide for that, but this will be for Windows. It's just an installer. And then finally, you'll need the IPA file. I recommend Polaris, but I will also leave links to the other 2. Anyway, once you've got all that downloaded and installed, make sure you restart your computer, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so now we're on the computer. I have my iPhone 4S plugged in. It is cleanly restored. Absolutely nothing on it. I just wiped it in iTunes. So, yeah. And now we have Sideloadly open. So, what is Sideloadly? Well, and why do we need it? And why is there a censored thing there? Well, first of all, the censored thing is my Apple ID. I'll get to that in a second. But we need this because of the way Apple's signing system works. Basically, Apple doesn't allow free sideloading. I'm sure most of you know that. And sideloading is installing an app from a computer or a source other than the App Store. Basically, Apple needs your Apple ID to sign the app with a certificate to the device. Now, there are some really annoying limitations to this. Mainly, you can only have like 3 or 5 or so apps. It's like something like 3 apps per device on 5 devices or something at a time, or something like that. I think it might be more limited. I don't know that off the top of my head. But the main thing you need to know is that the app will need to be re-signed every 7 days. If you have the developer subscription, which costs like $100 a year or something like that, you only have to re-sign them once a year and get like either unlimited or very many per device. But for the vast majority of people, that's what you're going to need to deal with. The reason why we're using a third-party tool here is because the only tool Apple gives to use to do this is at their own Xcode app signer, which is very complicated to set up and only on Mac. So for the vast majority of people, you're going to need something like this, and you will need to enter your Apple ID in for the reasons I just mentioned, because it has to communicate with Apple's servers. Now, this tool is trusted in the community and is made by a trusted group, and it's been around for years now, like 1 or 2 years, I think over 2, and there are 0 reports that I know of anyone's Apple ID getting hacked from using it. But if you don't believe me, which you shouldn't, I'm just a guy on the internet, or if you're concerned anyway, ooh, my wallpaper changed. Then you can go ahead and use a burner Apple ID or do your own research or whatever, but this is the tool I use, my personal Apple ID, which is why it's censored. So once you have it open, make sure your device is showing it's connected. You may have to hit trust on the device, and then click on this big button here to select an IPA. Now what may happen, and what will probably happen if you go and try to load the IPA here, is you'll get this pop-up, or your antivirus software will go off and say you got an exploit, you got a Trojan, something like that. Now, does that mean I'm supplying you with a virus-infested file? No, I am not, and you can go look up online about this file if you don't believe me. It's completely safe, and it really makes a lot of sense why it's triggering the antivirus software, because jailbreaks rely on an exploit to jailbreak the device, so the software will pick up on that. What you'll just need to do is allow it through your antivirus. Anyway, I've gotten that done, and we can now just hit start. Now at this point, when it tries to upload the file, it may go off again because it copies the IPA and puts it in a temporary folder. Just allow it through and then retry again, and it should work. And there we go, complete. And at this point, we are done with the laptop and we can go on device, but we can't open the app yet because we've got to trust it on the device as well. So make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi for this next step. Go to settings, scroll to general, click on device management. It's near the bottom. And then click on whatever your Apple ID is, mine's censored. And then hit trust. This whole screen is censored right now, but it's pretty self-explanatory. When that's done, you should be able to open the app. And there we go. Click jailbreak. And it's failed. If that happens, just go ahead and try again. This happens with semi-untethered jailbreaks sometimes. It'll just fail first try. So, yeah, especially on a device as slow as the 4S, it can crash sometimes. It's normal for this to happen. Yeah. The good news is when the untether comes out, you won't have to do that anymore. So, Yeah. Alright, let's give that another go. And now it's giving another message. I'll bet that's a Rickroll link, but I just can't see it. Now you'll get that pop-up, and alright, we're done. That storage almost full just happens when jailbreaking. I'm not sure the technical reason. Maybe because it's remounting a file system or something. But I think it did at that time, so yeah. There's Cydia. And it crashed. Now the 4S is just generally slow, so it may just not be in a jailbroken state right now, and it's just taking forever for Cydia to crash. Oh no, there it goes. Never mind, we're good. So, there you have it. You are now jailbroken on iOS 9. Make sure you let those sources update and remove the Ultra Snow source since it's dead. That'll get rid of that error and make the data reloading take a bit less time. So, yeah. And, yeah, one last thing I'm going to cover for anyone that's still on the video. Make sure to update your essential sources and all that stuff. I'm just going to go to my browser here. And a certificate expired last year for an internet certificate. And because of that, certain sites won't load that use a certain type of encryption, including possibly some Cydia sources. So I'm just going to go over how to fix that. Just go to cydia.invoxy playgames.uk/certificates, and then click on that to install this certificate. It puts up some text on the website saying, don't trust certificates from random sources. The reason why we aren't getting it from the official ISRG website is because the browser on here is too old. So that's the whole reason why that website exists. And IPG is a trusted developer who has made many amazing tweaks for our old devices. They're the ones behind the Tube Fixer tweak that fixes the YouTube app on classic iOS. So yeah, that should be all good to go now. So re-sign your app every 7 days until the Untether comes out, that is. And same with until the Untether comes out. Make sure to rerun the tool every time you reboot, or Cydia won't open because it isn't fully untethered as of now. And if you're running one of the other jailbreaks that I linked down below, it's the same thing with sideloadly. Then trust the app, open the app, hit the big shiny button, and you're good. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If this video helped you out, a like would be much appreciated, but if you don't want to leave a like, that is fine. I am very much sick of YouTubers begging for likes. I don't like doing it myself. So, yeah. I'm not going to push you or anything. And same thing goes with the whole subscribe thing. So, do what you want. I'll see you all next time. Have a good day. I'm out.